I'm Tom DiPetrello, and this is OverKill. He's my brand new robot. I just finished him off in time for Halloween in 2013. I'm hoping to show you guys a little bit about how I made him, why I made him, and what made him so cool. Now, when I started to make OverKill, I started off not by chopping up some stuff, but with the design in mind. I started out with saying, what am I going to do with him? So I said, I'm going to make money in Vegas. Other people's design might say, I'm going to bring him to a convention, or I'm going to take my new costume out on the streets and make videos. Whatever your purpose is, set it down on paper. Think carefully about what it is and make sure that your design is going to mean that at the end you can do every step along the way. Not just saying, I have a cool looking costume, but maybe part of that job is to say, I have to go to California from Rhode Island. I have to do that solo. And if I can't do those things, I can't win the big prize. So, from my point of view, OverKill is a success. Let me show you why. Start with a costume. I usually start with a couple of key components. The codpiece and the thighs. Because with a good set of thighs, you can move, you can sit on things, and if you can't sit down, then wearing a giant costume is tougher. Also, you want to be able to have a good range of movement. See here? That's a good range of motion. They're also durable. Thighs are going to take a lot of impacts. Your giant arms are going to hit them constantly. And when you sit on them, the pressure of your costume and your entire body is now on all of those parts. So if they're not durable, it's going to fail. The next thing you want to try and put on is your legs. These are Durastilt 4s. I like them because the straps are held up for me. That means less effort on my part and safer entry. There's only 2 straps that I really need to worry about getting into it. By carefully adjusting the straps ahead of time and exactly matching them up to the pair of shoes I'm going to wear, I can minimize the length of time it takes to get into costume. There, I'm in and I'm safe. The next thing to do is to strap myself in. And it's just that simple. A simple, handy wall makes everything easier. Keep your straps in a position where you can grab them afterwards without a thought. Before you get into costume, put everything else someplace where you can reach it. Why don't you give them a show? Those are all higher off the ground now. That means that I don't have to reach all the way to the very ground while on stilts to put them on. Once you're firmly into a good set of stilts, you can demonstrate a wide range of mobility. They have to be strapped onto you super tight, so when I jump, the costume jumps without a 1/4 inch of difference. I got my torso set up ahead of time. One piece. One strap. That's all I needed there. It's clipped into place. After you put on the torso, put on the head, then put on the arms. After you put on the arms, you can't put on the head. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Because if you're a giant robot, you better sound like a giant robot. I've designed these arms so that the weight of the biceps is actually carried by the torso. So that's one less component for my own arms to carry. The other nice thing about it is they still allow me a wide range of motion. Take a closer look here. You're going to see a whole bunch of these things. And you'll notice that on some of them they're color coordinated. There's a very simple reason for that. I want to find any random person I can find and say, can you hook black to black, red to red, blue to blue? If it's simple, people will do it in 2 seconds and the job is done. This arm has 2 pieces to connect over. Jay, you want to give me a hand? This is OverKill. But let's show you why OverKill is cool. Come on over here. There are finger sheaths designed for each finger. Allow me to control them all individually, the same as I have in my other costumes. It's lightweight, easy to use. Includes a nice set of lasers. Little haze will help to make them show up nicely. OverKill is badass. That's his purpose. I designed him to walk into a nightclub and have all the people inside there go, "Oh my God, that's the coolest thing I've ever saw in my life." That's what happened. I went to Vegas and I won almost every single contest I went to. Afterwards, I took home the money. I wanted to take a moment to give you guys a little bit more insight as to what goes on the inside of one of these costumes. Come on over here and take a closer look. I got a clock. Why do I got a clock? Because it's easy to lose track of time when you're in a giant robot. You're tracking things by the second, by the moment. Is there some kid running up between your legs? Is somebody pushing at you from behind? It's very hard to track 20 minutes. I totally lose all sense of time while I'm in costume. A clock helps me to keep track of that. If you take a look here on the inside, you can get a better overview. You can see the little finger pulleys that help me to trigger each finger. And you can see a little bit about what the wiring is like on the inside. This trigger here, triggered by my pinky, is actually the two lasers you see going off simultaneously. Over here is actually where the replacement battery is for those same lasers. They're embedded right over here. I cut them apart just so I can get them down to the smallest possible components, then wired them together. This piece is motion activated, but in a big club, bass music makes them trigger. And so every beat of the music lights them up. This is the simple hand. That's why there's only 2 sets of wires. The farther end has 5 sets or 10 wires, positive and negative. OverKill gets illuminated for a very simple reason. He's an original character. This is not from some anime or TV show or movie. I made him from scratch. Now if you take a second, that gives you a better idea what that really does. It tells people who it is they're looking for. There's a flashlight mounted on the inside here. And one of the other reasons I just did that is now you can kind of see a little bit about what goes on the inside. If you come over here, look at an angle, you'll see that there's 4 different switches. One to momentarily trigger the lights on and off, another one to turn on the fan, another one to turn on the solid lighting, another one to turn on the sequential lighting, and of course the individual 4 fingers and thumb. Now, as you can see, all this lighting here sequentially is triggering on and off. I'm going to show you something that's really nice with them. Reach away on the inside. That's the sequential lighting, right? Now, give it a few seconds, and you see they all move in perfect unison. These are with batteries that are 90% depleted. It really gets bright with a brand new set. I use these for about 3 days before they start to drop to this level. That's probably like 20 hours of continuous use. Not to be forgotten, there's the Cylon Eye and the light up Mohawk. That's tied into another set of lighting. I can actually blink the solid lighting, including the Mohawk, on and off by another control that's mounted inside this arm. And so, somebody says, "Who are you?" I'm OverKill. This here is actually 36 of those small children's toys that have fiber optic pieces at the end. I ordered a case of them, then chopped them up, heat formed a piece of plexiglass, shoved them all through, and then I got some LED lighting. Each strip going across this is about 1 foot long. So I put in 2 strips, one for each one. But I wasn't happy. So I added another strip and I illuminated it some more. But I still wasn't happy. Now we're up to 5 strips. There's 5 feet of super bright LEDs illuminating the sucker. This is OverKill's fan. It took a while to match up the green LEDs to match up the same color spectrum everywhere else has. And it's only 16 decibels. That means sitting right next to it, you can't hear a sound. I love this unit because it makes me be less than 150 degrees on the inside. This is part of the 3 different 12-volt systems we have running power throughout all of OverKill. In a second, here I get down here, and you can see not 1, but 3 separate AA battery packs, each one 8 units. They're designed to be able to swap one out and pop a new one in just seconds. So one of your backup people can walk up behind you, pop, and you're in and out in 12 seconds. Right there is some of the ventilation units I put inside the arms, helping create a little airflow because it gets really hot in this thing. It's the parts on the inside that really make OverKill be amazing on the outside. As you can see, OverKill's pretty damned agile, and he does his job. His job is to look awesome. If you like the way he looks, call up your local convention and tell him you want to see extreme costumes there. Or come subscribe to me on YouTube or Facebook. Thanks for your time.